yourself alone. Your demons come to light, and your mind is not your own. Lonely is the night when there's no one left to call. You feel the time is right, say the writing's on the wall. Yeah. It's a
This is In the Know for Friday, June 25, the 176th day of 2021. There are 189 days left in the year. Good morning, MB, guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station, 103.9 The Moose, live online at K105.com via the Apple and Android smartphone app, using the SoundCloud or iTunes podcast, on Facebook Watch, on YouTube Live, on Periscope, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we'll update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. Marina from The Habit, who will be performing at East Main Market tonight, will stop by for a conversation. Plus, we'll give you a chance to win that and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Speed. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I remember it was one day last week, I think Whitney or Natalie were here. We had a story, and your all's eyes got as big as pie plates about the South African lady who supposedly had given birth to 10 babies. Do you recall this story, correct?
Yes.
Because it sounded outlandish. As it turns out, it has now been established by medical practitioners that she did not give birth to any babies in recent times. It has also been established that she was not pregnant in recent times, and she has been ordered 72 hours of psychiatric evaluation to try and figure out why she thinks she had gave birth to 10 babies.
Yeah, I agree with that.
More importantly, she was collecting money, though, to help raise her 10 babies with a GoFundMe account, and so as it turns out, it was a false alarm. You knew that it was unlikely.
Right.
That,
I mean, 10 babies?
Yeah, just would be.
That's a lot.
That's a litter, is what that is. He is the 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio Newshawk Award, 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Moscow, Tokyo, Paris, and even Black Rock. He's Sam Gormley and the Sports. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Good. How are you? It's Friday.
It is Friday. Friday's always a big day, end of the work week, but East Main Market this weekend, so we're going to talk about that. And then also, I guess you've just been infatuated with the NIL, name, image, likeness issue over the last few days, and a big change in that yesterday. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, if that's okay with you. I ran across something I was going to. Maybe you don't know him personally, but Republican Senator John Kennedy. Recently, he made me laugh because he said that whoever is advising President Biden on the crime surge in cities across the U.S. is a, quote, butthead.
It's always a classic line.
I don't know if you all have realized this because I put it on display. Butthead is one of my favorite words. I learned butthead because of Wayne on the Wonder Years, the antagonistic big brother. And so but the fact that it has elevated to a U.S. senator using it in local parlance as far as describing someone as a butthead it's joyous to me. I love it.
What was the word you taught Judge Krabessa that he likes?
Jackwagon.
Jackwagon. That's what it is.
Jackwagon. So
that's another classic.
Oh, it is classic. And by the way, jackwagons and buttheads are different. They're not exactly the same. I would also offer that President Biden said he only takes advice from Beavis. That's what his retort was. The weekend keeps getting hotter. We had some spotty showers to start the morning, but that's really going away. But the 90s will rule the extended forecast with only a small chance for thunderstorms. So the closer to Louisville you get, the higher the highs will be. So when you look at the Wave 3 storm tracking team's 10-day forecast, when you see 94 as the high on Monday, I would adjust that by a couple of degrees out between the lakes, so maybe 92. But we're going to be, and we're going to have an elevated temperature today. Scattered thunderstorms, a high of 87. But the shower chances diminish the further you get from I-64. So just be aware of that. Mostly cloudy, 75 tonight. Isolated thunderstorms and 93 for tomorrow. Something weird happened yesterday in Grayson County. I didn't know about it as of the time of the show. And not long after the show, I was communicating with my mom, and she made reference to the Great Race. And I said, what's this Great Race? I don't know anything about the Great Race. I'm just learning of it. And she shared with me that she and my dad had gone to Owensboro for the evening before to learn about this Great Race, and then come to find out it was passing through Grayson County. And about that time, I was on the Thomason Byway, and I started meeting all these old cars. And so what is this? I had to learn. So my dad's on the phone this morning. Good morning, Dad. How are you?
Yeah, good morning. How are you doing?
Well, we're getting through. I didn't know about this Great Race. What is the Great Race, and how did you all participate?
Well, it's sponsored by Hemmings Motor News, which is a collector car publication, and Haggerty's Auto Insurance, several other sponsors, but it is an annual event.
Okay. Does it always come through, does the route change every year, and what is the route?
It changes every year. This year is actually last year's route. It was postponed because of the pandemic, but it started in San Antonio, Texas, and it ends in Greenville, South Carolina. So I was aware of the overnight stops and the lunch stops on the calendar from a long time ago, but you don't know the exact route each day they're going to be taken. They're given their route instructions each day at the beginning of the day.
Okay. All right. So that makes a little bit of sense, because I'll sort of share with my experience yesterday in just a moment. But you all saw the stop in Owensboro?
Yes, that's correct. On Wednesday evening, that was their overnight stop.
All right. So what were some of the vehicles that stood out to you that were most memorable?
Well, I especially enjoyed a 1952 Dodge military truck, but there were lots of Corvettes, and the parameters were you couldn't have anything newer than 1974, and it was a variety of vehicles all the way back to 1916.
Okay. Wow. Now, speaking of 1974, I think I have it on pretty good authority that a Bluesmobile went in front of your house yesterday. Is that true?
Well, that's true, but I had a little bit of an issue with that because it's actually a Plymouth.
Oh.
And the Bluesmobile is supposed to be a Dodge, of course, as you well know.
Yes, I know.
I did envy the speaker on top of it a little bit, which I never had.
Well, I think that was my department, was to supply the speaker, because that's more of my expertise. But I'll tell that story for another time. But is this kind of is it like a Cannonball Run, which we might know from the movies?
Not exactly. This is more of a precision event, and I would call it a rally. And they call it the Great Race, but they can't race on the public highways. So you're given all sorts of different stops and turns, and you have to deal with normal road traffic, and you're assigned a time to get to different checkpoints, during the day. So it's all about precision. And you got a driver and a navigator in each vehicle. So
when I met four vehicles on the byway, and so I turned and pursued, and then got behind one, which I think I saw a photo of just a moment ago, but they all have magnets on the side of the doors, and then they have magnets on the back that say slow speeds, so you know that they're involved in something. Yes, I saw this vehicle yesterday.
You saw the Hudson Hornet?
I saw the fabulous Hudson Hornet yesterday. And so I pursued, but followed to Tar Hill. And then at Tar Hill, they went on north, and I looped back through over St. Paul and Big Clifty. And then I said, well, let's just see if I can interact, because I knew that they were going to Elizabethtown. And then later I was on 62 just outside Cecilia, and I saw one of them come in on a small road called Eastview Road that terminated back into 62. So do you know anything about the actual route yesterday, Dad? It involved Kefauver Road, didn't it?
It did. They came through Caneyville, which was quite an event yesterday morning in downtown Caneyville.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a brief pit stop there, and then they went to Millwood, across Kiefhofer Road, up 54, three-quarters of the way around the square. And from there, I didn't really know how they were going to get to Elizabethtown, but you have more information than I do on that.
Yeah, it was really neat to see, and it reminded me. I used Cannonball Run as the reference, but I couldn't see all those old cars without being reminded of the great classic movie that your parents taught us kids about. It's a mad, 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 mad world. If you've never seen it, one, it's a great photo, but it kind of uses some of the same era cars that were on display yesterday.
It does, and this one's a little bit more of slow motion instead of actually trying to race each other to get to a point. So, which is good for us. We don't want to be in the middle of that, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing your experience. It was a neat thing. I'm sorry I didn't know about it sooner, but hopefully people now know exactly what they were seeing yesterday. So, thanks for checking in.
It's hard to publicize in advance because you don't know where they're coming until the day of the thing. So,
yeah. Well, it's a neat
thanks
thing.
for having me on.
All right. Talk to you soon. That's the dad there. So that's why you saw all these great cars yesterday. And as soon as I learned of it, I was telling Sam, I said, did you know this is, it's just, it was
I had no idea.
We had a B-25 bomber to begin the week. And now yesterday we had the great
Doc Hudson yesterday.
Who?
Doc Hudson. The Hudson Hornet.
I'm okay.
Thinking. See, when I think of the Hudson Hornet, I think of cars. Maybe my favorite movie from my childhood.
I saw this.
The best Pixar movie.
I did a little cruise by the Hudson Hornet. I was on, in the 4-lane section west of Cecilia. I was able to kind of cruise by and get a really good look at the Hudson Hornet. So it was a nice event yesterday. It all the way to. I told Sam yesterday. My phone may have cut out before you heard me, but. I lived in San Antonio, Texas when I was a baby for a brief period of time, and Beej, you and I honeymooned in Greenville, South Carolina.
We
so
did.
I've got the beginning and the ending of the of the route there. Continue to be saddened about that building collapse in Miami that happened early yesterday, and we marveled. We were almost in non-belief that only one person had passed away. Come to find out, there are at least 99 that are missing, and that's more in line with the numbers that look like this type of devastation. But it's remarkable in the way that they're going. That building was also, we were doing about the shape of the building yesterday. There's a complete section that's missing. There was way more of it missing than originally was understood. There was a lot of it that you couldn't tell had been there at one point in time. But they are also trying to rescue people from the bottom up. They are underneath the building because if they you think in rubble, you take the highest piece of debris and you remove it and you work your way down. And so the structural engineers that they're dealing with that are embedded with these crews are working from the bottom because they are less likely to create additional collapses or shifts in the weight. So it's definite
terrible.
tragedy,
It's so
tragic
sad.
situation, and obviously a state of emergency there in that general area at the local, state, and federal levels as well. President Biden announced yesterday we have a deal and a pared down infrastructure bill. It's still huge, even though it's pared down. But I think he was a little quick to say we have a deal because then there later was an ultimatum that said if there wasn't a human infrastructure bill that came along later, then he wouldn't sign the one that he was getting. So I don't know that we have a deal, as he says. Also should tell you Vice President Harris arriving at the border this morning.
Yeah, I just saw a video on the TV there.
Yeah, so did I. But I thought she might do a trick and go to the Canadian border just because she was trying to distract so much attention away. We got a Team Kentucky briefing yesterday, and Dr. Stephen Stack said almost all coronavirus cases reported in Kentucky during the last 4 weeks have been in unvaccinated residents. 99% of those hospitalized were also unvaccinated, so those numbers are kind of bearing out the efficacy rates of what we've been told. He pointed to the low test positivity rate of 1.85% as a sign that vaccinations continue to ward off an uptick in new infections. So, though 2.2 million, 49% of Kentuckians are vaccinated, if you get inside the demographics, it tells a completely different story. So, while 82% of Kentuckians 65 and up are vaccinated, Only 33% of adults 18 to 29 have received at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. We also learned yesterday that the governor is going to give incentives to people to leave unemployment and go back to work, which is 180 degrees from my philosophy on the way things are supposed to work. To the victor is supposed to go the spoils. And for those people who work hard, then they're rewarded. And so to dangle these $1,500 stipends to the first, was it 15,000 people? Do you know if that was the number?
Yeah, it might have been 20.
That went back to work by the end of July. So it was the first, you had to be first of this group within a certain, to get the $1,500 to go back to work by July 30th. And it was just, we can argue the virtues of it another day, I suppose, but it's just a lot of head scratching. It doesn't seem to make sense to a lot of people that continued working and were going to work in rough conditions throughout the entire pandemic. You know, that we're still putting in the time and earning their wages and having to work when maybe other people didn't show up, and working behind plexiglass and, you know, wearing a mask and being vulnerable. I think of grocery stores and convenience stores and those types of things that aren't high wage earners, and they don't get anything additional for their trouble, but people that just decided to, well, I'll just use unemployment benefits for this period of time and be rewarded with a handout just seems like a slap in the face to some, but I don't, maybe other people feel differently. Name, image, likeness. Sam, will this completely change the landscape of college athletics?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's going to be really, really interesting, and I think if you're a UK fan or if you're a U of L fan, you're going to have to love what had happened yesterday. Because, I mean, what this says theoretically is just the most basic way to describe it is if Anthony Davis, we'll use him as an example, when he was at Kentucky, if the biggest car dealership in Lexington wanted to say, hey, Anthony Davis, I want to give you $1 million to be the face of my car dealership, and I'll give you a car and all of that, be in all my commercials, that can now happen. Okay. Or if there was a college athlete from Litchfield and Future Designs wanted to make ex-college athlete the face of the hardware store or the face of lumber or whatever it is, that can happen now.
All right.
And I think it's good. I think in the long run, if you're a Kentucky fan, it can only help because these big recruits now can say, oh, well, Lexington, these businesses will pay.
Well, and what Governor Beshear did was keep Kentucky on a level playing field with states that had already become proactive in this regard.
Six states had created a law, and four of those states are Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia. Mm-hmm. And if you think of who Kentucky is competing against,
sure,
those are four of the big states.
And probably just as much in football as it is in basketball in those states. You know, the Carolinas are obviously important because of Duke and North Carolina. But I guess so that's what the governor did through executive order, which, by the way, I have to believe he did with the input of the legislature, because if the legislature doesn't come into session in January and ratify this procedure, it goes back to the way that it was.
Well, I know in the governor's release yesterday, I believe there was a quote from David Osborne, who's the Speaker of the House, right? I think he's Speaker of the House. Yes. There was a quote in there from him, so at least that, to me, says that there's at least some semblance of bipartisanship. And like I think Matt Jones on KSR had made the point, what legislator is not going to be for helping UK basketball?
So, you know, Sam, you know me well enough. I like to say, to what end, or once we go down this road. So what about the KHSAA? Is that next?
I don't know that we can see that.
So would Reed Shepherd, or a high profile high school athlete have the same opportunities?
That's kind of the big question right now is like you said, to what end, what comes next, but I don't know how many high school athletes in the state of Kentucky, but I guess you just mentioned one. But there might only be one in the state right now.
What about Bronny James? What about LeBron James' son?
He can.
Yeah. Who knows? He doesn't really need a scholarship to play college basketball.
I think his dad's got a little bit of money.
We got to get to a break. We come back. Marina Harden from The Habit, who will be performing at East Main Market, will join us by phone. That's coming up here on In the Know.
Hey, I'm about to head out. Would you like anything from the store?
Oh, I don't know. Just grab me one of whatever you're getting.
Oh, well, that's perfect, since I'm going to get a new iPhone at Bluegrass Cellular.
You're getting an iPhone?
And you're getting an iPhone. At Bluegrass Cellular, you can get iPhone 12 Pro on the house when you buy any of the newest iPhones and add a line.
Well, what are we waiting for? You've been wanting the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and I've had my eye on the iPhone 12 Pro. With a Pro camera system and its unbelievable low-light photography, we can even capture those summer night portraits.
Wow, I'm impressed.
With what? 2 iPhones for the price of one?
No, you actually know what you want from the store.
Oh, ha ha, Mr. Funny Guy. Hey, since you're so smart, why don't you finish out the commercial?
I will. Restrictions apply. Visit Bluegrass Cellular online or in-store. Bluegrass Cellular, your community expanded.
Attention Warren RECC members. The Warren RECC annual meeting is July 8th and has a new format this year. Stop by your local Warren RECC office from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. July 8th to register for the meeting and vote for your Warren RECC Board of Directors. At 6 p.m., you can watch our annual business meeting virtually on WRECC.com. Be sure to register and be eligible for door prizes, then watch the meeting on WRECC.com.
Leggett & Platt in Litchfield has a new way for you to give yourself a $3 per hour raise. Just show up, do your job, stay until you should, go home when it's time, and earn $3 extra per hour. Sound too good to be true? It isn't. Contact Leggett & Platt today to start working now. Apply in person today at 435 Ed Embry Drive in Litchfield. $3 an hour more just for doing your job. Find out how and get started now. Leggett & Platt is an equal opportunity employer.
When the heat rises this summer, your energy usage can go up too. But at KU, we're here to help with simple summer energy saving tips. Switch your ceiling fans to turn counterclockwise and create a cooling breeze. Weather strip or caulk doors and windows to keep the cool air in. Visit lge-ku.com/toolbox for more energy saving tips. Our energies go to serving you.
Ah, yes, nothing like a good iPhone rumor. Reliable Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo says the tech giant's iPhone lineup for 2022 will include affordable 6.1-inch and 6.7-inch models that'll cost less than $900. The high-end models will come with a 48-megapixel wide camera upgrade. The 2022 models will have fingerprint sensors located under the display. Most recent iPhones do not have fingerprint readers anymore, as Apple decided to push Face ID for authentication. One other Apple note, they'll begin releasing new episodes of its Time to Walk audio workout series June 28th. First season of the series, which featured celebrities like Dolly Parton and NBA star Draymond Green, ended in April. Fitness Plus, Apple's subscription service, offers curated workouts for $10 per month. The Time to Walk series offers 30-minute walking stories from a variety of celebrities. YouTube is out with some original Olympic content timed for the fast-approaching 2020 Tokyo Summer Games. One of the series features American gymnast Gabby Douglas, who was the 2012 Olympic all-around champ. Tech Report, Larry Olson, NBC.
Today is Leon Day because we're exactly halfway from Christmas Day.
I was thinking about that this morning.
6 months from now, it'll be Noel. It's Catfish Day today. The fish, not the thing that happens to you online.
Yes, that's the one good thing about Morgantown, right?
Yes, that's the only good thing. And it is Color TV Day today as well. And it is the day we say good morning to Marina from The Habit. Good morning. Welcome.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Well, we're doing extremely well. Glad you could stop by. Marina is the lead vocalist for The Habit that will be performing at East Main Market. I first have to ask you about your name, Marina, because I have a sister named Marita, which is a very non-traditional name. So what are the origins of your given name?
Well, I wish that was some majorly epic story, but actually there was a show on in the late 60s, I'm showing my age, and it had marionettes, and one of the marionettes was named Marina, and my mom watched that with my older sister, fell in love with the name, and that's how I ended up with it.
It is always fun to watch children's names and then try to look back at the rough time of their birth to what television shows. Like we got a lot of Dawsons, and we got a lot because of television and other things that have happened. So that's a perfectly logical explanation. I will ask you, we just heard obviously some of your performance, and we've been hearing it on commercials the last week or so. I will ask you, when did you start singing?
I started singing about 10 years ago. The rest of the guys in the band have been in the music business a lot longer than that, but I'm about a decade in.
But surely 10 years ago is not the day you just decided to start singing. Probably as a child you sang, or maybe, I don't know, a lot of people who sing grew up in church, or how did you come to love music?
Well, it's been probably since birth. My mom said that even when I was a baby, I would rock in the crib and try to sing along. So been singing my whole life, did the school choir thing, and, started out doing karaoke, and then eventually tried to take it to the stage, and here we are 10 years later. We're going on our 300th show as a band.
Wow.
So we've been around a little while.
It sounds like to me as well, if you look at your promo video, you all have curated a set list that I would kind of describe as just the hits. If you go to a concert, you want to hear your favorite acts. I don't want any obscure album cuts. I really don't necessarily want your new album. I want to go hear the hits, and seemingly that's what you all bring.
Absolutely. We definitely try to bring what you want to hear. We're not going to pull out any deep tracks on you. We certainly try to bring the rock and party music that people want to hear when they go out to have a good time. And that's going to be stuff that you recognize, you want to sing along to or dance to.
I can tell by your selections that I've listened to that we are both sort of rooted in the 80s, if you will, but I know that some of your set list goes all the way back to the 60s. What would be one of the older songs that we might look forward to hearing tonight?
We will probably whip out some Elvis Presley tonight. Jailhouse Rock just always seems to work. Or we might throw a little Great Balls of Fire by Jerry Lee Lewis.
Goodness gracious.
Just whatever is fun. That's what we're going to bring with us.
All right.
Whatever is going to make you sing.
The other end of the spectrum, it's one of the newer hits that we might hear?
You might hear Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars. You might hear Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke, or What's Up by Four Non Blondes.
Wow. So that's the complete ends of the radio dial, right?
Love
From
it.
87 something to 107.9, everything in between, covering an amazing amount of time. So Marina, you're obviously fronting the band. I always like it when performers, they take a little drum break and they introduce the various people. Who else makes up the Habit?
Yes, we have a fantastic group of guys, and we are definitely a tight-knit band. Like I said, we've been together 10 years. So we have Clay Offit, and he is our utility guy. He plays both lead and rhythm. And then on drums, we have Jeff Koulis, and he is a fantastic drummer and percussionist. And on bass guitar, we have Eddie Rooney, who is our backbeat rock sort of guy. And then on our other guitar player is Phil Candela, and he does a great job at lead and rhythm guitar as well.
I didn't hear you mention saxophone, so if you need me, just give me a nod, and maybe I can hop in there.
Your audition will consist of "Careless Whisper" by Wham. If you can't do it, you're not in.
Oh, I got it. I've absolutely. I think I burned out an entire Walkman just on that song alone. How did the partnership or the arrangement between the Habit and East Main Market come about? How did you learn about us, or how did we learn about you?
Yes, so Danielle Urardi is the coordinator for East Main. She also happens to be a good friend of mine. She has came and seen our band on numerous times, And when this festival came up, she's like, we're looking for musical talent. Would you be interested in coming to play with us? And, she told me all about the festival, and we were certainly interested. And once we got to talking about what everything consisted of, we were like, yes, we definitely want to be a part of this.
Great. I think, by the way, in the sampling I've done of what you all bring to the party, I think it's spot on for what an event like this needs, because you'll get so many people that'll say, well, what do they play? And I like Elvis, or I like Bruno Mars. Guess what? The Habit has both. So I think it'll hit the target for the demographics that you'll be reaching. And you've got a great opening act as well in local talent, Emily Portman Drake. She's a phenomenal talent, and she'll get everyone warmed up for you.
I have heard such good things about Emily. We are so excited to hear what she has to offer, and hopefully we'll be able to follow her and do her justice.
Well, she'll warm everybody up properly, and I know you all will then take the party to the, Spinal Tap would say turn it up to 11 this evening. What time do you all expect to hit the stage?
We are going to play from 7 to 10 Central Time, and Emily goes on at 5 Central Time.
That's wonderful. All right. We'll talk a little bit more about East Main Market later on in the morning. But Marina, thank you so much for stopping by. And we can't wait to hear you perform tonight.
Well, thank you so much for having me. We are very excited, and we are looking forward to rocking Litchfield.
Great. We'll see you this evening. That's Marina Lucas from The Habit. They'll be performing 7 to 10 tonight. Sam, I have it on good authority. You're going to be there this evening?
Yes.
Will you be attempting the axe throwing?
Oh, is it back today?
Axe throwing, I learned yesterday, axe throwing is back. Elizabeth did the live shots from there for the first East Main Market, and she was awful.
As I told her, and I told whoever was running the axe throwing, if I do that, there's about a 9 in 10 chance I'll end up at Twin Lakes Regional by the end of the evening. So probably not going to try that.
We know folks at Owensboro Health, and they will be happy to accommodate should you find yourself in that situation. But I will tell you, you can't be any worse.
Touche.
I mean,
you have to try it. You have to do it.
I can't be worse, but then again, I'm not sure I want to accept that challenge because I've seen myself. I don't know. We'll see how the night goes on.
Well, I mean, it's either that or shotgunning beers, and I think you better not do the shotgunning of beers. So you'll have to do some throwing.
Well,
of
I've got
axes.
good help tonight.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe you can delegate your axe throwing to someone else. But
I thought you were talking about the ladder.
I don't know if you've made yourself aware or become aware. By the way, that's all going on this evening on the square. It's a free event. I mean, unless you want to eat or drink or dessert or whatever it is.
And there was a lot of really good food last time that I was walking around and seeing.
Yeah, Emily we'll have some live coverage from there as well, so you can kind of get a feel for the flavor, but it's the 2nd. And then next month's event will coincide with the Twin Lakes National Fiddlers Championship, and then we got some other exciting things for August and October. That event, the fourth weekend of September is Honeyfest weekend, so they're kind of diverting around that. So we'll see you out there. There's an air conditioning shortage ahead of a hot summer that's causing a nationwide price spike. Is there anything prices aren't spiking on?
I don't think so.
There has to be something. Like when the prices on like so many things go up, there has to be prices that go down somewhere, don't they? I mean, isn't that just the law? Isn't that physics?
A McDonald's Coke is still $1.
It is?
Yeah.
Well, good.
Any size, right?
Can I tell you, it's a joyous day when I go to McDonald's and say I order a small Diet Coke, and then they bring me a big one. Oh. It feels like
I don't even try to get the small one.
Bonus Diet Coke. For whatever reason,
It's
I don't know
same price.
why. I know, but I don't know why I do that. But I get a small, and because I'm really just trying not to drink a large Diet
But
Coke.
if they give you
but
one,
they bring me one, say, well, it just kind of happened. It's not
can't
my
not do
fault.
it.
I made a good decision. I can't help it that you
Well, I
brought
love
me
it when they say,
something.
we're out of the medium cups. Would you prefer a large?
Sure.
Sure.
I'd rather have
absolutely.
that than the small.
The proliferation of air conditioning units is outpacing supply. Shipping delays are rippling down the supply chain, resulting in a lack of inventory for components. Demand for AC units is already surging ahead of the looming droughts in the West and the power grid issues in Texas. The workforce is also lagging behind, so it's kind of a perfect storm of all these things that have come together. I was also reading that there's what's called post-pandemic hoarding. Now that the pandemic is pretty much over, whether you considered yourself a hoarder or not, many people exhibited hoarding tendencies over the last 18 months, as exhibited by our new rule at home that says eat what's here. Because we have this large deep freeze in our garage that we haven't always had. It's only, 4 years old, maybe?
About that.
So it's about 4 years old, and it's full. And so because all along, I'm just as guilty as anyone else. I'm not casting or pointing any fingers, but say I might be going to the butcher shop or I might be going to wherever. Well, while I'm here, I can grab this, or back around Christmas, let's stock up on Butterball turkeys. And so because we went through this period of time as a society in March, April, May of 2020, and even into June, where things were hard to find. So when you got an opportunity, you think, well, I better get that while I can, or I can't get this, so I'll get this. And now when we look back, we go, what are we going to do with all this stuff?
I think I did really well. I don't think I've hoarded. I mean, is that fair?
You couldn't hoard any more than you did. I mean, poor Alea's bedroom, like her entire underneath her bed. Is it better now? Are we working off of the supply?
I promise you,
Okay.
there is
All right.
less than 10 items underneath her bed.
Good. Well,
You can go check.
wouldn't you admit then that is a remarkable turn from where it once was?
Yes,
'Cause
absolutely.
It used to be if you were hungry, you just went and looked under Alea's bed.
If you wanted ravioli.
there was ravioli, or there was
Bunny
beefaroni.
sausages.
It was so good. We've relocated
Yes.
everything back to the pantry. Well
I've
done.
done well.
Well done, Team B. Well done, Team B. We're doing much better. And we've had Butterball turkey in the last couple of weeks. We're going to have some again this weekend. We had burgers last weekend from the freezer. We're doing fine.
Yeah, I had like a stir fry mix yesterday for lunch.
It's like going
And it
to the
did not
grocery.
settle well.
When you go through our house, you open up a cabinet, you go, well, look at all the food that's in here. It's like stuff we forgot that we had. If you're traveling this summer, here are the cheapest places to travel this summer. Are you ready? Orlando, Florida. The 10 most affordable places in the United States. Orlando, Florida tops the list.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah, it's maybe not the way we do it, but it's...
I was going to say, if you stay out of Disney, it's probably...
Well, and even you can stay off property, and you can... I mean, it just depends on what you want. Do you want value or do you want experience? And you can spend any amount of money that you want in Orlando doing whatever. You can just go to SeaWorld. You can stay at a Holiday Inn Express. You can do... Or you can... I mean, you can do whatever it is that you want. But Fort Myers, Florida is at number 2.
We'd go there a lot growing up.
You did? Mm-hmm. Tampa is at number 3. Detroit, Michigan is at number 4. Yeah, they're just begging people. But now,
I don't know, that's my vacation spot.
it may be like the Hotel California. You may never leave. And Fort Lauderdale's at number 5. The cheapest places to travel in North America, San Salvador is at number 1. That's in El Salvador. Santo Domingo at number 2. Medellin, Colombia at number 3. That is for sure the Hotel California. If you go to Medellin, Colombia, you're never leaving. Cali, Colombia, and Bogota, Colombia. You all see a theme
Yeah.
here?
You're not even going to mention, I saw the list earlier today, number 8 or 7, 9, something like that.
8 in the United
Yes.
States.
This is why I don't read it. ahead of time.
Cincinnati.
Whoa. Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati. I heard somebody call it that recently. I thought I'd never thought of that being Cincinnati.
I've heard every
And-
potential derogatory combination of the city of Cincinnati.
Cheapest
possible.
places to travel in Europe: the Dolomites, Italy; the Amalfi Coast in Italy; the French Riviera. Well, yeah, because you don't have to spend money on swimsuits.
Well,
Right.
That's
Well, now
why
you
it's
can just watch the
affordable.
movie that's coming out. That
The French Riviera.
isn't that where the new Pixar movie's set?
I don't know. We'll have to investigate that
Luca.
during the break. Is that where it is?
I think so.
Santorini, Greece, and Douro Valley, Portugal, the cheapest places in Europe to travel.
Yeah. Portugal is on, actually, it's lower down on my list.
It
but,
is?
Yeah.
Well, my brother did a tour of Europe, and he said Spain and Portugal was one of his favorites.
And I'd just like to go ahead and tell you, if I suddenly go up missing, there's a good chance I have joined a company called Slice App, where I will be their head of pizza for Kentucky. They're looking for 50 people who will eat pizza in their state and give reviews, and I can't think of a better job for myself.
I saw an ad for this the other day.
You did? Mm-hmm. I don't know what the Slice App is, but I'm going to look into it, and I may have a new job. Got to get to a break. We'll come back, give you a chance to win to round out this work week. May play Fact or Crap, may play the water cooler question. We haven't quite decided yet. We'll figure it out and let you know coming up here on In the Know.
Get ready for the East Main Market. This and every fourth Friday night in Litchfield. Enjoy food, crafts, vendors, and live music. Admission is free, so come enjoy the fun. Food starts at 5 o'clock, then from 7 to 10, enjoy the sounds of The Habit.
Doctor, give me the news. I've got a back case of loving you.
East Main Market this Friday evening. For more information, email eastmainmkt@gmail.com.
Homeowners, especially on the lake, have most likely experienced or will experience water erosion on their properties. There is a solution and preventative measures that can protect against this type of erosion. With the help of products and service from Scotty's Contracting and Stone, Crushed Rock Road enhancements can provide erosion control and shoreline protection. Well-designed and maintained erosion control helps ensure that today's beautiful and safe landscapes remain so tomorrow. To discuss erosion control and shoreline restoration solutions with Scotty's Contracting, call 270-259-5696.
When caring for a family member, their state of health is continually on your mind. And when they're faced with a health concern, you'll do just about anything to make them feel better. Rest assured, their feel better starts right here at Midway Pharmacy. We take our time to get to know all about your family's health history so we can provide you with educated advice. So when someone's counting on you to help them maintain a healthy lifestyle or to overcome that untimely sickness, remember, at Midway Pharmacy.
Have you ever wondered what human trafficking is? Have you ever wanted to learn more about protecting your children from abuse or the dangers on the internet? Would you like your staff trained on how to spot and report signs of abuse? We provide free trainings to our communities on a variety of topics. Did we say free? Yes. If you or your organization would like to have a free training, please reach out 270-234-9236. on the web at silverleafky.org or call 211 and ask for Silverleaf.
There's a place full of summer fun and thrills for the whole family, where you can fly on world-class coasters and spin, play, and laugh together, where you can ride, slide, and splash the day away. Visit Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay. 2 parks for one low price. Check out KentuckyKingdom.com for more information and to purchase discounted tickets.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
Twin Lakes weather.
A cloudy day ahead with highs into the 80s. We can see some scattered showers and thunderstorms later on this afternoon, especially in areas along and north of 64. For tonight, drying out, but still cloudy with temperatures down into the 60s and low 70s. Tomorrow, highs into the low 90s. From the Wave 3 News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Ann.
The 105 Days of Summer is powered by Litchfield Exterminating, here on the Twin Lakes Best Mix, K105.
Did you know the sun shrinks by 5 feet every hour? So, Sam, you're a math guy. That sounds like a lot.
Stats guy.
Okay, you're a stats guy. But stats involve numbers.
Yeah.
So I would ask you, though, if we established the size of the sun, the width, would it be troubling to know that we're losing 5 feet an hour, because we could almost then draw where the end of the sun is? Is that fair to say? Can't we estimate when the sun will burn out?
Yeah, but
as
I
a
don't
star?
think it's anything that really we need to worry about, is it?
That's too much.
Someone does.
Yeah, not me. I can't imagine that I'll be here in 700 years or however long it is.
Oh my goodness. That sound means the return of the quiz show sensation sweeping the nation. A little game we like to call Fact or Crap. If you'd like to win your choice of Kentucky Kingdom, Holiday World, or Beach Bend tickets, call 270-259-6000 right now. 270-259-6000, and we'll play around as much time as we have for Fact or Crap. It's pretty simple. I read a statement. You decide whether it's factual or craptual. You get 2 out of 3, and if you win 2 out of 3, then you win the tickets of your choice. Fair enough, right?
Pretty simple.
I heard Rick and Bubba bust out their giant game of knowledge this morning. I always enjoy when they do that.
I heard some of that.
It's good.
Yeah.
By the way, I got every question correct in the giant game of knowledge. Do you believe me?
You've played a lot of Jeopardy, so I don't...
This was all Rick and Bubba trivia, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would fail epically then. Fail epically. I'd be lucky to get one, wouldn't I?
270-259-6000. No, I think no. They wouldn't all be difficult. All right, Sam, pick a number between 1 and 6.
3.
Okay, that means Sandra gets the first choice. Good morning, Sandra. How are you?
Fine.
Good. Do you know how to play Fact or Crap?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, a veteran. We like it. Sam and Beej are here to help you. You can go with them, or you can go on your own. Just know they're here if you need to get input from them. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Here's number 1. You got to get 2 out of 3. Conan O'Brien, which his show is coming to an end.
It ended last night.
Ended last night.
Did.
Conan O'Brien used to be a writer on The Simpsons. Conan O'Brien used to be a writer on The Simpsons. Is that fact or crap? Sam thinks he knows. He says it's fact. Beej also says it's fact, but I have a feeling that's because Sam knows so strongly.
Well, no, I felt it before, but I did see his.
Okay, very
Just to be
good.
fair.
And so, Sandra, I will ask you: is it fact or crap?
Fact.
She says it's fact. It is fact.
I heard it
That
on my
is,
news bulletin this morning that said his show was ending.
That is correct. But you knew that he wrote for The Simpsons.
Yeah, it said it on my news bulletin this morning that I was
got
listening
it.
to. It
Okay.
said Conan
He
wrote for The Simpsons.
also wrote for SNL for a while. Okay, so
He's just so weird that would make sense to me.
you just got to get one of the next 2. Here you go. Your heart beats over 500,000 times a day.
Oh, gosh.
Your heart beats over 500,000 times a day. Is that fact or crap? Sam, this is one of the numbers he apparently doesn't like because he paused.
That's a lot.
He says it's crap.
Yeah, if I can
Beej, what
actually
say
put it in my
you?
camera.
You say that it's a fact. So we got a conflicted jury here. Sandra, what do you say? Is it fact or is it crap?
I'll go with crap.
You go with crap. It pays off because that is correct. It is crap. And that means you win. Would you rather have Holiday World, Beach Bend, or Kentucky Kingdom tickets?
Beach Bend.
Beach Bend it is. All right. Congratulations. Hang on. Princess Tiana is going to get some information from you. There you go. Another successful round and satisfying customer from Fact or Crap. We got to get to a break. We'll come back, finish it up for the week here on In the Know.
My colleague, relationship expert Dr. Greg Smalley, talks to a lot of couples who want an intimate, romantic marriage. But what they have instead more closely resembles a business relationship. Sometime after the honeymoon, they stop connecting at a heart level, and every conversation becomes about bills, household responsibilities, or who's taking the kids to practice. Practical matters are a part of life, but when your priorities drift away from your relationship, your partner will get your leftover emotion, your leftover time, your leftover energy, your leftover commitment. Leftovers are lousy for marriage. A great approach for correcting this trend is to turn to your spouse first. Let's say something exciting happens at work. Who's the first person you tell the story to? A coworker, a friend, a family member? Try telling your spouse first. There's something important about the first telling, particularly for men. The first telling of a story naturally carries more emotion. Whoever hears a story first tends to get most of your emotion and therefore most of your heart. If you share the story with your spouse last, they'll be getting your leftover emotion. So if your marriage has grown dull, reignite your passion by connecting with each other at a heart level. Don't settle for leftovers. Give your marriage your best and turn to your spouse first. To help your marriage thrive, visit FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
So, next week we have baseball practices, a sleepover, tennis camp, and a pool party. And why are you moaning?
Because our kids' summer schedules make my head hurt.
It would be easier if we could all stay connected.
You're right. We should all just stay home.
No, we should go to Bluegrass Cellular. Right now, iPhone SE is $0 per month. We can get our family the right device and peace of mind. Plus, it has portrait mode and a long battery life.
Seriously?
Yep. It's perfect for capturing memories, summer gets easier to manage, and Bluegrass Cellular has helpful support in-store and online. Tools and tips that can help our family stay connected, our way.
I feel better already.
Glad I could help. Now, for a limited time, hurry into Bluegrass Cellular and get an iPhone SE for $0 a month when you activate a new line. Restrictions apply. Buy online now at bluegrasscellular.com or your closest store. Bluegrass Cellular, your community expanded.
Beach Bend Park.
Fun for the whole family.
Summer fun is back at Beach Bend Park and Splash Lagoon. Enjoy 2 parks in 1 with thrills for all ages. There's classic amusement rides like the awesome Kentucky Rumbler roller coaster with amazing twists and drops, daily shows, mini golf, and so much more. Or experience the park at dark during Friday Night Lights. Take the plunge in our 1 million-gallon Splash Lagoon water park with wave pool, lazy river, and exhilarating water slides. Enjoy your own private cabana rental. Purchase tickets online and save on one-day admissions, or have twice the fun with a 2-day play pass for only $39.99. At Beach Bend, the parking, tubes, and sunscreen are always free. For park hours or to purchase tickets and season passes, visit beachbend.com.
Beach Bend Park. Fun for the whole family. Beach Bend Park.
Pilot of the airwaves, here is my request. You don't have to play it, but I hope you'll do your best. I've been listening to your show on the radio, and you seem like a friend to me.
MB's Point to Ponder for today. Yesterday we had the story about the people at Disney World who hopped off their boat at the land and stole the cucumber.
Yes.
So the question is, I have a follow-up on that, by the way. The question is, what's the worst example you've seen of tourists behaving badly? What's the worst example you've seen of tourists behaving badly? We like to enjoy fails that our tourists have with our square, with our roundabout. So that's kind of a no-brainer. That one's easy. That happens all the time. I had a hard time coming up with one because I don't think it's necessarily behaving badly, but Miss Buckles, I think you still have this photo that we were at the Hilton in Nashville one evening.
Oh, dear.
Yes, is this what came to mind for you?
Well, it did not, but now that I know exactly where you're going.
We're in the atrium lobby at the Hilton in downtown Nashville, and the elevators are glassed elevators, and they come down to the lobby. And so there was a packed elevator, and some man had dropped his pants and was mooning everyone from the elevator as it was coming down into the lobby. And so I
always love it when it comes up in Tomahawk.
Yeah.
It cracks me up.
I mean, it's behaving badly.
It is.
But it sure is fun.
It's so funny.
It has provided so much enjoyment to us over the years, just laughing about it. Anything come to mind for you?
Not anything really comes to mind right off the bat. I mean, the square, obviously, just you can usually point out. But I'm even trying to think of if I'm going to a Reds game or something along the lines of what would stick out of somebody not knowing what they're doing. But
you know who has the best examples of tourists behaving badly? The Grayson County Sheriff's Office.
Oh, I can
That's
imagine.
who has the best examples of tourists behaving badly.
Because they come right towards them.
Absolutely. So I'm not. I don't. Oh, by the way, there was some thought that the people on Living with the Land, they got off their boat 4 times and stole the cucumber and went on and said that Disney did nothing to them. Come to find out, that's not true. They got off of the Living with the Land ride and then got on Soarin', the Soarin' Around the World ride, and Disney security was waiting for them when they got off Soarin' Around the World, and they were trespassed and banned forever.
Huh.
Really?
So they have to. The story was too big for them to not do something
I don't
because they need
disagree,
to deter
but,
the behavior.
I mean,
Wow. And all they got was a cucumber.
All they got was a cucumber. I hope it was on the last day of their vacation. I
Yeah,
hope
can you
it wasn't-
imagine spending all that
hope-
money
hope
to
it wasn't on the first
day
day.
one, steal a cucumber and
The other headline, another headline that made me laugh, was that Prince Harry and Meghan apparently rejected the title of the Earl of Dumbarton for Archie when he was born because they feared he'd be teased with dumb jokes.
you don't.
Because
say.
the
Yeah.
Earl of Dumbarton, yeah. Considering who his parents are, I'll bet the Earl of Wokington will be far better title for young Archie, would be my guess. On television tonight, the Daytime Emmy Awards. Regis and Alex Trebek are going to be honored, I think, along with Larry King.
yeah, I think that's what I read this morning.
Going to be on television. Also on A&E. I'm so excited because Behind the Music is coming back on VH1. I just love these documentary, for goodness sakes, I watched the wrestling series on A&E. Just learning about why these people were so popular and how they came to the business. And so I used to love Behind the Music on VH1, and it's coming back. They're doing one on LL Cool J. They've got a whole great schedule of it. And then also on A&E on Sunday evening, a new documentary. It's a 2-night deal called Kisstory on the infamous rock band Kiss. And so they're going to study. That's going to be
Gene
Huge
Simmons.
fan of Kiss.
You
Yeah.
could focus just on him and
Oh, sure.
and have stories for days.
I mean, you can watch his Family Jewels show
Mm-hmm.
you could binge watch that, and that's super exciting. I also should, I'll get to that in birthdays in just a second. Today's highlight in history, this day in 1962, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that recitation of a state-sponsored prayer in New York public schools was unconstitutional. In 1788, Virginia ratified the U.S. Constitution. In 1876, Colonel George Custer and his cavalry were wiped out by the Sioux and Cheyenne in the Battle of Little Bighorn in Montana. Anne Frank's diary was first published this date in 1947. Michael Jackson passed away this day, 2009, which saddens me. But there's a little bit of... we don't really have a lot of time to spend on this, but in June of 2010, on the 1-year anniversary of the death of Michael Jackson, I learned that this lady over here didn't know that Michael Jackson had died.
How'd you miss it?
was
It
on
was
vacation.
everywhere.
There's a and the reason I use this as an example, it shows you the power of the Disney bubble. She was at Disney World in 2009 when Michael Jackson died.
Even then.
By the way, Twitter, Facebook, etc., was different then. It wasn't as right. It was just different, and so there were ways to avoid it.
You mentioned at the beginning of the show San Antonio. That's where I was.
You were?
I was
at
in
that
San
time?
Antonio. Because it was the same week it was Billy Mays died.
Ed McMahon and Farrah Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett. Yep, it was all in the same week.
Birthdays today. So see, I mean, it's funny that you didn't know it for a year, but in your defense, it's because you were on vacation having a good time. Fair enough?
That's the happiest place in the world.
That's right.
Right?
Well, certainly on Earth. Carly Simon is 76 today. Jimmy Walker is 74. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor is 67 today. Busy Phillips, the actor, is 42 today.
I so love her.
And Reese the niece is celebrating a birthday today. So,
Happy birthday,
As is
Reese.
Ken's oldest daughter.
yes, that's right. Yes, Alex Hallett is celebrating
Turns 18.
birthday today.
Alex.
Quickly, I got a procedural issue that we really kind of need to. I guess we can decide after the show, but I do want to share the dilemma. Vera Wang turns 72 on Sunday. So do we tell Misty about it, or
Your arch nemesis. Her arch nemesis.
yes?
Yeah.
So do we leave it up to her? Should we be proactive in giving her a heads up?
Don't you think she already knows?
I would have thought it was circled on the calendar, but this is why I was asking.
She's probably got one of those flip countdown calendars.
What role do we play in this regard? I mean, we have the knowledge. We know that it's happening. So do we just pretend like, hey, what's squirrel over there? And maybe she won't notice? Or do we equip her with the knowledge?
I think she knows.
All right, fine. I got it. Gone but not forgotten. George Orwell in 1903. Animal Farm and
Big fan.
1984. Let's go to chart toppers. All the way back to 1948.
When a fella meets a girl in Switzerland,
The Andrews Sisters.
there's a certain thing he's gotta do.
Oh, yeah?
He can never take her by the hand.
Okay.
Till he learns to tooly-ooly-doo.
What's this tooly-ooly-doo you speak of?
Yeah, no clue.
Let's go to 1957. Elvis Aaron Presley, number one.
Another Elvis mention.
Sam, I didn't know you were a big Elvis fan.
My dad liked
Yeah?
Elvis. So. I think my brother had made him a Elvis greatest hits CD that we'd listen to in his car.
What is the best Elvis song?
Hound Dog.
No, incorrect.
Well, you ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Well, what?
What is the best Elvis song?
Poke Salad Annie. without a doubt. Poke Salad Annie.
Strangers in the night.
1966. Frank Sinatra is number one.
Wandering in the night. What were the chances?
Gotta love Sinatra.
Let's go to 1975. Linda Ronstadt was number one.
When will I be loved?
All right, to number one in 75. Bruce Springsteen, Dancing in the Dark, number one in 84. That's when we were all introduced to Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
Have I told you lately, Rod Stewart in 93? Party Rock Anthem in 2011.
Oh, there you go.
And The Bones, Maren Morris, number one a year ago today. I mentioned Diary of Anne Frank was published this date in 47. Here's MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Helen Keller said, kind of along the line, Helen Keller said, the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Look forward to seeing you back here on Monday for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powered by Heritage Media of Kentucky. WKHG Litchfield, Kentucky, USA. 104.9 FM, the Twin Lakes Best Mix.